That's so dope. Because sometimes I can be pretty boring. I tune myself out sometimes.
I'm willing to listen to anybody. I'm just always, I'm one of those, people constantly hungry for some type of information or education, and, especially if I can pick it apart.
Okay, peace, family. We live tonight. NBK Live. My Skin is My Sin, bringing you the one and only Mitchell Chance. He should be coming in at some point. Liberation Media, Liberation Minded Media Group in the building. My Skin is My Sin. Sister Renee, do the knowledge. Blackistan. They get busy. NBK, we mess with them heavy. Anything we can do to help them, we with it. We got my man Joseph Boyd bringing us My Skin is My Sin. Everybody listen up. This should be a good conversation tonight. I'm going to kick back. I'm going to listen. And, tell me what you think.
Nothing to do with your belief system, nothing to do with your everyday life, and you just know random stuff. That's what happens.
That's true.
Listening. So,
like you just can't buy wisdom. You could buy a lot of stuff, but you can't buy wisdom. You got to earn that the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. Curiosity. Like we were having a conversation on kinetic energy. My nephew is 11. He wants to be a computer engineer. So we were having a conversation on the Newton's cradle and kinetic energy and motion. And then we ended up talking about badminton. Just like random stuff that got nothing to do with anything I ever do in everyday regular life. But he was throwing topics out there, and I may not know something about everything, but I know a lot about a lot of stuff. So we just play that game where he just randomly pick something and see if I know something about it. He'll be sitting up there Googling to make sure I'm not just coming up with shit. So,
you are pretty smart, though. It's a little intimidating, too. I'm not the smartest person on the planet.
No, intimidating. Neither am I.
It is. Like, you're really smart and will let you know in a really just intellectual way, like I'm brilliant without trying to say I'm brilliant.
Oh man.
And shout out to once again, shout out to NBK Live. And I know I'm just springing on you, and I'm sorry, Queen, but we've been talking about doing this for a minute. So if you aren't on Blog Talk, or if you are, go to YouTube, go to NBK Live and check us out. And we're still waiting on Mitchell Chance. I just inboxed him. So you know how it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, and sometimes I'm not even gonna front, man. Maybe it's as a man, I don't know. Sometimes, I like a really smart woman, but then there have been times where I had to wonder how smart is too smart for me in a woman, and is there a too smart? Am I sexist for thinking that?
Yeah, no, it's not sexist. It's just, it is. I don't know what the word is. I'm still looking for what to call it. I want to say it's either lying to yourself or being confused, depending on which brother it is. Because it's like men say, no, we want women this. We don't like the feminist women, so we don't want you to be too independent and strong, which I'm with, completely with. But we don't want you to be no dingbat hood rat, that. And I think y'all like them. I think y'all like the dingbat hood rats, because them the ones that get wiped up, that got all the kids, that don't work, and the man go to work and pay for everything. Y'all don't get the in-between too often. And I know your wife is amazing, so I'm not even talking about her. But I mean just in general, when you get the women that can be independent but choose not to be, like me. And then here come the intimidated brothers that say they're intimidated. And I just started getting that recently, maybe in the last 5 years. Like before that, men wouldn't even admit that I was intimidating to them. And now I get that constantly. It's a good and a bad thing, because it's like at least you know that you shooting a shot from a full court away. You know what I'm saying? It's like you gonna get brothers that they know that they shouldn't be shooting their shot to you.
What? That's just wrong though. Like who is? who are you to say that somebody shot shouldn't be shot? I'm shooting every shot
Man,
possible
look,
if I'm single.
I am.
There is
I'm
nobody
a
out of my league. I'm me.
woman. No, I gotta. It's like a imaginary table. I'm on one side, you on the other side. It doesn't matter if you don't have exactly what I have, as long as they equal up to somewhere near the same value. And if you lack it in some area, I'm okay with that, because I'm probably the type of woman that I can help you out in that area to make it better. But don't come to the table with a snack and I got a whole meal going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not going to work at my point in life.
I mean, but you acted like somebody kicked in your door and sat and just bulldozed your table. You invited them to the table.
That's not what I said.
No, but what I'm saying is you said don't come to the table with a snack if I got a meal. And what I'm saying is you invited me to the table knowing I had a snack. Don't get mad because all I bought was a sandwich.
I don't invite nobody to the table. I'm a lady. I get invited to a table. I don't invite anyone to my table. I get formal invitations for a sit down. I'm not inviting anybody to my table. Yes.
Formal invitations for a sit down.
I go by courting. I'm old school. I go by courting. I don't really do a lot of dating unless courting happens first. Which means, and if you understand the southern value of courting, courting is you make it known that you are worthy of being dateable. That's what that means. You let them know my intent. I really do have serious intent, and I'm a decent option. That's what that means. So then when you go through the courting process, then you can go to the dating. That's what's wrong with people now. People just jump into the dating, and that's why you end up dating 20 people in your life before you marry somebody. Courting is like, you may go through 5 or 6 guys, and they're all going to be decent, and that's how you get to a lasting. Like I can honestly say, the 7 guys that I've dated in life, and I'm 35, they've all been decent guys. I'm friends with all of them except one. I can call any of them. They've all been decent guys. It just didn't work for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I've never dated a guy. I'm not
gonna be your friend afterward. Like, I'm breaking up with your whole family. I just am. That's just me. I'm breaking up with the whole family. Like,
my boyfriend before my last boyfriend is still super cool with my daddy. I'm like, y'all just can't be having lunch and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's gonna have to be a line drawn somewhere.
Right. That's just weird to me. And I'm sorry for the people that just tuned in. We are awaiting the King Mitchell chance to call in. If you're out there listening, King, it's 347-855-8692. I got the last 4 digits of your number, so I know when you hit the queue. But other than that, we kind of just shooting the breeze randomly. If you've never heard of us before, this is My Skin is My Sin. You know, that is the Queen Afi, and I am Jobs. And we pretty much talk about anything that goes on in the black community. You know, or whatever, however you defining us today. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean when I say that. Don't cuss me out and give me a long speech. My bad. And man, this is dope. I'm looking at the live, and wow, it's actually a couple people watching. Salute to y'all people. Oh damn, I ran somebody away. My bad. But man, shout out, man. It looks so dope, though. I'm looking at the little banners. My Skin is My Sin. Present. Oh, that's so fire. You know.
That's what's up.
Right, it is what's up. It would be dope if we could get the interview started. You know, I'm impatient. I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know, always have been. You know, but I got an insane work ethic once I get like my teeth like into something, but. Generally speaking, I can be so impatient.
Yeah. We got to learn that. I'm one of those type of people, too, only because I'm so detail-oriented, you know. So I do try to – I hate to disappoint. I was talking to Keith a little while ago, and we were talking about that. You know, you're one of those people that it bothers you to disappoint other people. You're not so much concerned about other people being disappointed, but it bothers you yourself when you take on something and you have to disappoint someone else. So, you know, you overextend yourself because you don't want to say no.
You don't want to say no.
You don't want to say no. You don't want to say no, but then you don't want to disappoint, so you end up overexerting yourself trying to fulfill your obligations that you made, you know, and sometimes you shouldn't have made them because you already had obligations. It's like you overextend yourself. So I was trying to tell them, like, I had to learn that. Like, I may not come off as the nicest person all the time, but I hope you can vouch for me. When I say I'm in, or when I say I'm going to do something, it's like I do it.
Oh, you don't.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, you say you're going to do it, it's done. So I don't even have to think about it or ask again, you know. So and that's a beautiful thing right there. So I would never, ever, ever, ever take that away from you.
I appreciate that. But you got to learn how to say no, too, though. You got to, and I will fill up my plate until it's overflowing. But at some point, you got to say no. It's just, you know, I'd be exhausted every day at the end of the day if I gave everything to everybody and I had nothing for myself. You gotta recharge.
And see, you know what it is? I like to pretend to be a bigger asshole than I really am. It's like a coping mechanism, so people won't ask me stuff. Because generally speaking, if they do ask me something, if I can, I will. And that'd be the problem.
Wait. Well, how does that work? Because I'm an ass, and people still ask me to do stuff.
But like you got a dope ass talent though, you know. So people have but people got like they got a way to get into you. You know what I'm saying? They could use, oh, you know what? I would like to get this painted for you know, and then that's kind of like a little inside, so they at least have some communication, and maybe they can undo whatever fuck up they did.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't really have no talent.
You know what's funny?
So I ain't got that luxury.
You got talent. What do you? I mean, not like maybe not like an artistic, but yeah, you do. You got the gift of gab. You know, you sure good at reaching across the aisle to everybody. So
is that a talent though? Like literally just talking?
Skill. Well, I'll say skill. You have a good set of skills when it comes to something like radio and media. Like, you have to be able to reach out to people on multiple platforms that think differently, and be able to pull people together. Because, like me, I couldn't do what you do just because I'm always so, one-sided and on my square all the time. Like, sometimes I can be closed-minded, and I don't even want to listen to someone else's side of something. And you can actually be unbiased in most of your dealings with people. It's necessary. It's diplomatic,
I mean, you know what? I try to look at things like my grandparents would talk to me about things, and it didn't matter. Like, it was the same kind of thought process when I was 5 as when I was 10. The way they looked at things, just a common sense approach. And it didn't matter how much better I had advanced in math or English or whatnot. They still looked at things kind of just, did it make sense to them? And that's just how I approach it. And I try not to let people get me off my square emotionally. I don't need, that to me, that's kind of a sign of weakness. Like, I allowed you to get me upset. I don't look at it as like, you got me upset. I look at it as a deficit in my character that I gave you that power.
You're right about that. I'm working on that because I may not get angry. I may not let someone get me angry, but I definitely will let someone get me, feisty or sassy or, having to come back and say something smart and stuff. And I don't always have to do that. So I'm working on that. It definitely is a sign of weakness. It's one that I readily identify that I am actively working on, how to just overlook stuff or not let somebody pull me down to the curb with them. Because I'm like, you down there at the curb and you fucking with me, look, here I come. You know what I'm saying? I'm like that. But I'm working on it because I don't want to be that way. Speak quietly and walk with a big stick. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and I feel that. That's pretty much my thing. And then most of the time, like, I just don't understand. Like, and I know if you tuned in waiting on Mitchell Chance, we are too, so I do apologize for that. If there's something you would like to talk about, because we didn't really come with a secondary topic, And quite honestly, we don't really need one. We just talk about whatever, So if you got a question, you got a comment, you hate us, you love us, you want to say something, you can either call 347-855-8692 and press 1, or you can go to NBK Live on YouTube and you can say something in the chat room there. You can the Blog Talk chat room, for whatever reason, I guess my computer needs another update or whatever. It just will not let me access it. I'm going to stop trying. It's been over a month now, and I'm tired of it. So I do apologize. I know I can't remember the name, but it was somebody that faithfully was in the chat room every week. Oh, man, I can't remember your name. Hit me up on Facebook if you can. But, so our apologies for that one. It's just it's a mechanical error, I guess you could say. And if you are tuning in, share the show, especially the live show. We definitely go. It looks dope too, by the way, man. You got to see this. Can you tune into that, Queen?
I can't tune in today. I am in hurricane mode, and everything is plugged up and charging. So I can't get to it at the moment. Well, they're not in here. Why not?
Right. I feel special. Like it looks dope.
I'll be on next. I'll look next week.
I'm telling you, like I'm over here, like, ugh, that look. They got the Liberation Minded jumping off. They got the flyer for tonight, the little banner going up, on Facebook. Oh man, that's kind of dope, man. Man, yeah, you gotta check it out. Oh, and I've just been going back and forth, and I don't know. I had some I really, really kind of looked into all the videos that I had questions on. And said, you know what? I'm gonna give it a little. Let's see. We'll give it to about 8 o'clock. And if for some reason that he has not called up, and I'm not, life happens. I understand that. We'll move on. Because I did want to get into. He gave a definition that he came up with of self-hate. I thought that was actually a pretty good definition.
You want to share it?
Huh? Oh, no, I was going to wait till about 8 o'clock.
Oh.
I'm trying not to use up my ammunition, Like, I was meticulous in the question. Okay, I was meticulous in a couple of the questions. The other ones just came to me in the whim. I'm not going to lie.
Cool.
But I don't want to waste the good questions that I got, because it'll be obviously salty if, like, I go over them now and then he calls up in 10 minutes and then I'm stuck. I gotta wing it. So I don't want to do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, well, I don't think people really want me to do that. I'm not that interested. So we got 5 people that's watching us in NBK Live right now. Shout out to y'all, because y'all the first 5 people that consistently listen to us. And I'm not sure why they still listening, because we're not really talking about anything. But shout out to y'all. And if y'all got, this is kind of how we do. We'll go, we done had Dr. James Small on here. Did I say that right?
Yes, Dr. James Small.
Oh, okay. And we had comedian Just Nash. Peace, family. Who was that? Delia Briggs. Wow, you the first person to say anything to us outside of MBK Live on the YouTube channel. I wish I had some shit to give you, but I don't. So my bad. I was unprepared for actually interacting with anybody, but that is so dope. I think I might take a picture. That might be my profile tomorrow. So if you don't want me using your name, let me know.
Ah, that's what's up. That's cool. I like that.
That's pretty dope.
And this is something new that we're trying out, right? So we're gonna be a little wobbly with it, but we'll get it and get it going and popping. So 5 is good, I think, for the first time that we're trying this.
It is. Wow, we done jumped up to 8 people right now. Somebody do me a favor right quick. Of those 8 people, give me a dislike right quick. I just need, the hate kind of makes me feel a little bit better. So if somebody out there can just do me a favor and just throw a dislike in there, I'll feel a little bit better when I go to sleep tonight. Well, apparently I jumped the gun a little bit on Dillier Briggs. And am I saying that right? If I'm saying that wrong, let me know. That's NBK Live family. So I do appreciate the comment, but can I give we don't do dislikes? Oh, I'm just messing with him, man. Hit that like family and share the show. He is right, though. We got 9 people watching right now. So what would you like to talk about, Queen?
Man, I don't know, man. It's a lot going on. It's a lot to talk about. I know the show is going to be popping when the guests get here, so we don't want to go too far into that angle of what he's going to talk about. But I will say that, I think what I see, what I'm starting to see, and I like, is people starting to recognize that there is some change being made, and we are moving forward. With some of the efforts that we try to put out. You know what I'm saying? And it may just be the circles that we're in. We're starting to be, more around like-minded people or active people. But I feel like 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to say the same thing that I'm saying now. I think that we got a long way to go. But even me, like in my everyday life, I feel like that I'm still around a lot of people a lot of black folks, friends and family, who may not be doing everything that they can, but they acknowledge that I do and they respect that. It's not like a joke anymore, something strange anymore to say you're non-religious or you're pro-black or, like in my case, like I practice voodoo and stuff. I'll get occasionally somebody that's thrown back by that. But I think it's becoming more of a common thing now. And it could be, trendy and all that, people like to say, but sometimes trends end up sticking, So
I will say that we get a little bit more tolerant of each other's different philosophies and, ideologies or whatnot. And that's dope, because I'm not into religion at all, but it doesn't stop me from having a conversation about building with somebody that's full-fledged Christian.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people over the years that, for whatever reason, Christianity was that thing that just changed their life around. I'm not going to hate on that. If praying to a pink elephant made you go from drinking a gallon of gin a day to exercising and becoming a vegan, then keep praying to a pink elephant. I don't really care.
Yeah.
We get, it's, I could go on for forever on this one because we're just getting so bogged down, to me, in the conversation. It's just so repetitious, and it's not going to be fruitful for either side. People just dig in on faith. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. That person does.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's like you say, it's like the common, I'm with that. The common goal. What's the common goal? The common goal is to, get out of the situation that we're in. We may not all be taking the same route to get there, but we all got the same desire in mind. And I think that's what we got to keep our eye on. And
I think that's like crucial. Like the people that we kind of know and deal with, at least from my standpoint and my interactions, like nobody's ever been like, well, what religion do you believe in?
Yeah.
Like, if you believe in something and it happens to come up in conversation, that's just something that you learn. Oh, and hold the line right quick, Queen, if you do not mind, because I do believe that our guest has just called in.
Okay.
All right. And let me give him a good little introduction, if I can. I want to welcome the King, Bama Daily Nkrumah, formerly known as Mitchell Chance, the voice of a revolution, exposing minds to the truth, 5-time author. We have the honor and the privilege to welcome the King, Mr. Mitchell Chance, a.k.a. Bama Daily Nkrumah. And I'm sorry, King, if I mispronounced it. I worked on it for a minute, so I do apologize.
You got it right.
What's good,
I
fam?
appreciate you guys for having me. I apologize for being late. You know, every Thursday night we go out into the streets, into the communities where, you know, murders and shootings happen, and we get out and talk to people and try to figure out what we can do to help, you know, reduce the gun violence and get people off the streets and stop selling drugs and whatsoever. So I was just in the middle of a real, I wouldn't say heated, but a real deep conversation with some young guys, and I got caught up and forgot all about the call. So I apologize for my lateness.
Oh, that's all right, King, man. You was needed elsewhere way more than you was needed here, bro. I salute you for that.
That's what's up. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the platform. So, how's life, man? You know, that we're standing.
Say it again.
I said, how's life?
It's all right. You know, it's a constant grind. You know, when you do the work that I do, it's not as easy as if I was out here trying to tell everybody how to get rich quick. When you're trying to revolutionize the minds and mobilize the people to get them to fight for their liberation, it's definitely a struggle, but it's also definitely worth it.
I feel that.
I'm working on my upcoming tour, so I'm excited about that. My first stop is in Baltimore, September 28th. So I'm excited to be able to travel around with the Reconnect Tour and begin to heal the disconnects that we have in our communities, bring some of the ideas and things that I've implemented in my community, which has created a lot of different changes, and just making sure I get these things out there so other people are able to use them and change other communities the same way I've been able to do mine.
And what community is that, King?
Well, I'm from Philadelphia.
Man, I heard Philly ain't no joke.
Yeah. Philly is definitely a rough spot. Definitely a rough spot.
Oh, salute to you, King. That is very dope. You do a little something with Black and Nobel too, right?
Yeah, I do a lecture, and I call it the lecture and conversation. I teach for about a half an hour on a particular topic, and then after that we talk for about an hour. We have a conversation about it. It's a safe space for men to be open. I did a video some time ago on depression, Black men dealing with depression, and I had no idea it was going to receive the amount of views and comments that it did. And there were so many men just talking about their issues, and one constant thing that continued to come up was men saying, you know, I wish we had a place to let our frustrations out, a place where we can vent, a place where we can be open and honest about our pains. And I'm not one to see an issue and not address an issue. I believe if you see it, you're supposed to address it. So when I saw the men cry for it, I created it. So I started at Black and Nobel to have that safe space. It's men only. No women can come. Not that we have any problem with women, but, you know, we just want to make sure men have that safe space where they're okay crying, where they're okay saying I've been suicidal, where they're okay saying I'm depressed or I'm sad or, I don't know how to get through life, I'm struggling, so we have that safe space where I can teach some principles, but also we can get out our frustrations and then get some help and be uplifted by our brothers, because we've all as men dealt with the same things, but the world has placed this idea of what a manly man is on us, so we then begin to front for the guys that are going through the same things that we're going through, as if we're not going through the same thing that they're going through. And so in this environment, we're able to break that stronghold so everybody can say, listen, I've dealt with it, you've dealt with it, now how do we heal each other? How do we band together? How do we be each other's help? And that's what I'm doing every single Friday night.
Right?
Salute to that, man. Jeez, man, and that's
an excellent point that that a lot of men do get trapped in that cycle of not being able to express themselves because other men around them are not doing the same thing. So everyone's hurting. It's like you're all hurting and you all don't know that you're all hurting because you're all fronting for each other like you're not hurting.
Mhm. Yeah.
Definitely.
You know, and I tell young cats all the time, you know, like especially when with respect with choosing the queen, if you can't cry on her shoulder, she ain't the one. I don't mean, you know, every day you crying, but when you need to let go, if she can't hold you down at that moment, she ain't the one.
Yeah, it's a psychological thing that we have to break. Both the man and the woman. I actually talk about this in one of my books, Broken Pillars. I have a whole chapter. It's titled "Let Me Cry." You know, the man has to be comfortable enough to cry, and the woman has to be comfortable enough to allow him to cry without looking at him as less than a man. So there's a duality, you know, with this thing. The man can't just jump out the gate, you know, just crying without us talking about this ahead of time. Because a lot of the reasons why we respond to things negatively is because we're ignorant. And severely ignorant in some cases, and especially when we're dealing with the emotions of a man, a black man in particular. We're very ignorant to that because we think that the black man is just some strong man who doesn't cry. He only shows love in a tough way, and you know, a man can't even kiss his son by the time he turns 3. He's too old for you to be kissing, and we have these ideas that destroy us emotionally, and so we have to have these conversations. We have to have these dialogues. Like, listen, I am the man that you know I am, but there's more to me as a man than you know that I am. So I am everything that you thought I was, but I do have some extra things that I need to expose you to. And a part of what I need to expose you to is my weakness. What I need to expose you to is my vulnerability. What I need to expose you to is my emotions and my tears. That way I don't snap out one day and kill you because I never, ever had a chance. Not that I'm promoting or condoning any kind of domestic violence, but there's a reason why, you know, a man would snap out and do something, and then everybody like, I would have never thought he would have did that. That's because he had 40 years worth of pent up rage that he never got out. And so it's very imperative for us to have these conversations with our partners, so they can know that there are some things that we got to work towards in order to keep me sane. Because a lot of us are walking around on the borderline of insanity day by day, all because we have not actually allowed ourselves to release.
I agree with that completely. And so what I did today, man, is I really tried to get into the videos that you dropped, man. I for a couple of hours, it was just nothing but you. You know.
Yeah, I got a lot of videos.
Right. Very, very, very dope. I appreciate the way that you're able to get your point across in not a condescending way, but just for just a regular cat like myself to understand.
Oh, praise God.
You know, and it was interesting too, man, that you're a religious person, correct?
Yes, I am.
And I am not, but I tell people all the time, you know, because I see it a lot that, you know, well, if you believe in so-and-so, you can't be woke. And that makes no sense to me. Like, what you believe in faith-wise may actually be a benefit to you doing something for our people. And I think the people that it is a benefit, they somehow get swept under the rug for the people that's leeches, and we don't seem to do the same thing in other aspects.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely a struggle for me. I get it on both sides. I get attacked from the conscious community because of my faith, and then I get attacked from those in my faith for being a part of the conscious community and teaching the way that I do. I was a member of the UNIA for some time, and I will always get attacked by people in there like, how do you believe in the Bible? And I'm like, I'm in a building, in an organization started by a Catholic. It's like Marcus Garvey is like the face of woke, and he's Catholic. Marcus Garvey is the RBG, and he was Catholic. Marcus Garvey was Pan-Africanism, and he was Catholic. So you can't say that these things are mutually exclusive, that you can't be one, you know, and be the other, you know. So, I mean, I don't know how they got those ideas. You know, Nat Turner started his revolution because of, you know, reading things in the Bible, because when you read it, 75% of it is war. It's all about a nation fighting to have their own land and sustain their own land. You know, it's a few verses in it that people try to magnify, But when you look at the totality of the Bible, especially if you ever hear me teach it, I'm going to teach all of the stuff that they don't want you to see, the stuff that they don't want you to learn. And majority of it is all telling you to fight for your own land, sustain your own land. God is teaching you not to intermarry. You know, all of these different principles that we believe as Pan-Africanism, all of that's in the Bible. Don't you deal with these, because another thing we don't understand is those folks in the Bible are African people. They're not Caucasian. That was written in Africa for Africans, and it's all black people. And he's telling them to stay away from these Caucasians, but folks don't even dig it. They don't even dig it. But yeah, so that is my.
That's an interesting way to look at it too. I never considered it that way, to be quite honest.
Clearly, we interpret it two different ways, because nothing that you just said I agree with, but you know, people are gonna interpret things different ways and.
Nothing I said that you agree with.
No, I'm saying the way that pretty much everything that you just said I don't agree with, including about Marcus Garvey and that term. And Marcus Garvey abandoned Catholicism. He picked up Orthodox Christianity. He actually abandoned Catholicism. They're not the exact same thing, even though they're a form of Christianity, but he was definitely not a Catholic at the end of his life.
I'm not a Catholic either. I'm just saying Catholic.
No, I wasn't thinking about
a different form of Christianity.
That point, but I am one of those people who do not believe that either Marcus Garvey nor Nat Turner would still be followers of the religion that they died.
I hear people say that all the time. How can we come to that conclusion, or why would we?
Well, it's not. You can't. Well, you can have an opinion on the matter based on your understanding, and this is my opinion with the access to the information that we have today that they did not have access to. I believe that they were victims of their situation and circumstances and the lack of being able to gain a lot of the information that we can gain at our fingertips today. So for that reason, solely that reason, I don't think they would be participants in the religions that they died in if they lived in today's world. But I also don't think that they would be the men that they wouldn't achieve the things that they did if they lived in today's world. So
I mean, but
you know.
You can't have it both ways, because people do want you to say spit facts, but then you'll speculate to the nth degree on that one. Like, you can't really say that because that's like I get what you're saying, that how you kind of like extrapolating how as far as things have changed. I get that, but that was a long time ago, and to say that they wouldn't be, you don't know. Nobody knows. They could be the staunchest people in religion at this point if they were still alive. You never know.
Yeah, but that's the point of me saying I believe. Of course, there'd be no way of me knowing that. That's just what seems rational to me. It may not be that way to everyone else. And I started my statement by saying that that's what makes sense to me. It's not going to make sense to everyone else, and I'm okay with that. And everyone should be okay with the fact that I don't think that they would follow the religions that they follow then. It was a discussion. I just disagreed with
I feel you. And what I want to do, too, since we got a little break, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Queen, but I want to play this song. I got to play this song before we go. And if you have not caught Brick CD, please go to www.itsmebrick.com and cop Exodus or Revolution. You can cop them both, or you can cop one or two. You can go to iTunes. You can pretty much look him up anywhere. Brick the Foundation. Shout out to the King. And when we come back, King, I want to talk about self-hate, if that's cool with you.
Okay. Yes, we can definitely talk about that.
All right, hold on one second. Let me cue this up.
This is the type of message they kill people over. So I might not make it with you, but I will spark the Exodus. Queen Mother Harriet said she freed 1,000 slaves. She could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. You see, the hardest job of a revolutionary is getting our people to understand the necessity of movement. We're standing still at our jobs, still in our homes, still in our community, still in our churches and mosques, still in our thinking. Hell, we're sitting still to get murdered. We won't even move to protect ourselves. We're standing still with our hands up, begging not to get shot. But where are our survival instincts? I've never saw a gazelle sit still when they see a cheetah or a hyena when they see a lion. I've never even saw a white man sit still when they see a black man. But for some odd reason, our people have become content being preyed on. But that day is over. Today is a day of movement. We're moving from relying on the Caucasian to relying on each other. We're moving from having our community controlled by others to controlling them ourselves. We're moving from being policed by Caucasian cops to daring them to point a gun at one of us again. We're moving from our oppressors poisoning our water to us being the source of life for our people. We're moving to a promised land, which is not a distant land, but we're going to build our nation right where we are. This is not going to be an exodus from one place to another. This is an exodus from being good Negroes to great kings and queens. My people, we must move. No longer can we sit still, waiting for the perpetrators of injustice to give us justice. Do you want to be free? Do you want to be protected? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to have everything you need in abundance? Do you want to live without having to tone your blackness down because you fear you might get shot or a job won't hire you or you'll be discriminated against? Do you want to live in a world where the amount of melanin you have isn't a hindrance for your prosperity? No, I'm not going to ask Pharaoh to let my people go in this exodus. I'm asking you to let yourself.
Yeah. Are you ready to follow? Better yet, lead, trying to be a role model. Take a look in your closet. I hope there's more than Jordans and brand new phone posits. Them number 9s cost a passport, but you can't even in your block it. Basically just a hostage. Under my control, they watching. Half of them killing each other, the rest of them still lost in the doctrine. Little black babies all up for adoption, but y'all see no problems. Who controlling the mentality of our children? Y'all seeing this nonsense? Jim Crow in these streets still can't escape from that bondage. Shackles still in the brain of some of our people. Sometimes it's still impossible, but I feel there ain't no other option, no. I ain't lying, King Mufasa. I'm going hard until I'm adios. Lost in the safe and it's all I know. Daughter on the way, so it's all I want. Picture perfect, just go that slow. Make it last longer, worth 1,000 words. Once we put it together, make the art so dope. Displaying mosaics, artistic with phrases, creating great lyrical articles. The book of brick, every chapter real. Married to the game at the chapel still. Camouflage got my ammo filled. It's time to deploy to the battlefield. Let's go.
Yo, that's definitely one of my favorite songs, King. Definitely one of my favorite songs.
I appreciate that. Shout out to Brick for having me on the track with them.
Yeah, shout out to Brick the Foundation, always family. All right, so what I want to do is I was watching one of your videos and you had a definition of self-hate. Mm-hmm. So, and for the people that have not seen that particular video or don't particularly remember the actual definition, I wrote it down for you. Any subconscious bias which makes a person feel something exclusive to their race is unacceptable, unprofessional, uncivilized, inappropriate, or directly related to negative stereotypes to the point of that you disassociate from or alter your natural, your cultural, or natural state to appear less like your own people. And my question, based off that definition, is in your research of self-hate, what surprised you the most about us as a people, and more importantly, maybe about yourself?
What surprised me the most? Man, I don't even know. I think, during my research, not so much about the self-hate, but a lot of the things that was done to generate it. What surprised me the most was how many Black Wall Streets we had. Like, once we learned about Tulsa, Oklahoma, it was like, all right, that's it. That's Black Wall Street. Like, no, that's just one of many. I had no idea we built so many different thriving towns across the country. Then I had no idea they were all burned down in Red Summer. Then I had no idea we rebuilt them again, and then they began to be eminent domain after the Highway Act of 1956. So that's what really stuck out to me the most. Like, we had the most thriving towns in the country. Like the Caucasian cities had nothing on our cities, which is why they continually wanted to destroy it, and then ultimately why they wanted to integrate us. I always tell people that integration was not because the Caucasians had some kind of moral epiphany. It's because they wanted us to concede the authority of our communities to them, and that is what happened once we've integrated. You know, so I think that's the most, at least off the top of my head, that's the most thing that shocked me was how many different towns we built, lost, and then rebuilt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very dope, very dope. Go ahead, Queen.
I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say like that. Like when he was saying that, I would have been surprised if he had an answer about what surprised him the most. Because honestly, if you've done as much research as I'm aware that he's done, you don't get surprised often. You know what I'm saying? Like when you understand why a lot of the things happen, a lot of the reasons behind a lot of the events, it all starts to make sense. This is what's all a process. You know, a slow process, and that's why it's going to be really hard to reverse things as quick as we would like them. If it took this long for it to get this way, it's going to take a long time to go in the opposite direction. But when you get down into these small details of all of these events, you know, that's when you're like, damn, you know, that, you know, something starts to make sense that you never realized before.
Now, I want to answer that question again, because as I'm getting time to actually think about it. What surprised me is what drove me to write the book, The Great Hijack. Because, you know, since I do videos all the time, people always ask me to do videos on particular topics. And for some time, a few years ago, people kept asking me to do a video on self-hate. I had no idea about self-hate. I heard about it, but I didn't know anything. So I said, let me do some studying before I do this little 5-minute video. But as I began to study, it got so deep I ended up writing a book. But the book is The Great Hijack, the stealing of the black talented 10th through a system of self-hate. So that's what I say surprised me was it's self-hate is not about just getting the average black person to hate the other average black person. Self-hate is about getting the elite black people to hate black people so they won't help the rest of their people. So that's what it was when I realized it was a system and not just I want you to look at in the mirror and say, I hate my nose or I hate my skin. No, it's to make our entertainers, you know, say negative things about Bill Cosby as soon as he's accused, or to say negative things about Colin Kaepernick, or the W.E. Du Bois going against Marcus Garvey. You know, that's what the system of self-hate is all about, is making sure the talented 10th doesn't help the rest of their race. So I'll say that's what surprised me, because when I went into it, I just thought it was just about, you know, individuals just hating themselves and not a strategic plan to separate us from our power base.
Man, like I it's like you know stuff, but when it gets explained to in a different way, it makes you understand it better. And that like hit the nail on the head for me right there. And it's a question for you both, actually. Do we have an honesty problem in our community?
In terms of
you want to
self-hate?
answer, Queen?
I said, do we have an honesty problem?
In terms of self-hate, I would say
not even in terms of self-hate, but just even people that quote unquote are woke.
I would say yes. I would say yes and no, but I would say yes sometimes. You know, I would say most often yes, unknowingly. You know, just because of lack of understanding or being educated on why. You know, you're not being honest about whatever it is you're particularly being honest about. It's like the self-hate part. Like I completely agree with what the brother was just saying. You know, but it's like honestly, a lot of people the self-hate. You know, like you can relate that all the way back to slavery. You know, pitching one. I mean, we still do that today. The light skin versus the dark skin thing, with pitching each other to one another. It's a lot of people that have self-hate that aren't, you know, powerful in the community, or what they say their opinion has no weight or no value, but they still self-hate. And for what reason? It's because it's a part of systematic. It's a part of systematic oppression where we've been pitched against each other for so long that it's like you're scrambling for whatever little bit of value you can find within yourself. And some of us are just finding that that's been instilled in us. Oh, the lighter you are, you got a little mixture of your hair, let's flick down a little bit more or whatever, some type of way that makes you better than the next person. And you can be offered absolutely nothing as a productive member of society, but that's what you're gonna hold because that's what you've been taught.
Oh, and I'd be remiss if I do not get a shameless plug in right quick. We came up with a game show called The Conscious Olympics King, and to just in a nutshell, it's Jeopardy for Black folks. We just had one in July. KT the Arts Degree won that one. We had KT, Minister Inky, we had Q Butter, and we had Asanori Bay, and we had Doggy Diamonds hosting. We're coming with another one. So if you down, man, because we've been talking about doing it in Philly too. So if you down, let us know. I gotta throw. I'm sorry, but I gotta throw the shameless plug in there, King.
No, ain't no sorry. So, throw it in there. Now to answer the questions, and I'm gonna try to keep it within the confines of self-hate. I'm gonna say the same way as the Queen said, yes and no. I'm gonna say we definitely have an honesty problem because we aren't honest with things, but it's not because we're intentionally being dishonest. We just don't know no better. In Carter G. Woodson's book, The Miseducation of the Negro, he says the same educational system which inspires the oppressor crushes the spark of genius in the Negro by making him feel his race has never achieved anything and will never amount to other races. A Negro thus educated is a liability to his race. So he basically said if you get brainwashed by this college and this education, you become a liability to your race. And so what happens through the system of self-hate, which again is a subconscious bias. So my conscious mind isn't being dishonest, but subconsciously I have the wrong information feeding my conscious mind. So I did a video not too long ago, and I said that there's no such thing as a loud, ratchet, ghetto black woman. And people really got upset because they didn't get what I was saying. What I was saying is any behavior that's exclusive to a predominantly black neighborhood is villainized. Now, who has the moral authority to say a woman rolling her neck or talking a little loud is wrong? Who has the moral authority to say if she talks with her hand that is somehow bad? There are different cultural norms all around the world, and I wrote about it in my book, The Great Hijack. It's a whole bunch of different. When I say weird, it's some weird stuff, at least weird to me. But everybody else, when they do these things, people appreciate the difference in their culture. But when it comes to us, whatever we do is deemed wrong. So what happens, and why we are dishonest, is those who begin to believe that everything that the Caucasian told you about your people is wrong, then you begin to look at your people the wrong way. And you begin to project negative names and negative images onto your people and negative ideas and philosophies. And so now you will fight for the basically white supremacist control of your own people, and you won't even know that you're fighting for it, all because you think there is a certain thing as professionalism. No, people say it's a certain way you got to talk. It's a certain way you got to dress. Says who? Says who? I know they conducted business in Africa. Did they wear European cut suits? No. So how then can I say that the only way to do business is in a suit? So once that stuff gets programmed in my subconscious mind, I am now dishonest about loving myself, loving who I am, because I've been programmed to hate who I really am. So the honesty is not conscious, but it's a subconscious dishonesty because of the way that we've been programmed from birth. The moment we come out, I know you've probably seen the Black Doll test, right?
Yeah.
You ever see the
Yeah,
Black Dial
I
test?
think about that.
Okay,
All right. Yeah, I seen that one.
Yeah, so the Black Dial test shows us that these children have their own subconscious bias. What dial is ugly? The black dial. What dial is pretty? The white dial. What dial is mean? The black dial. What dial is nice? The white dial. And it happened over and over and over again. And those children were subconsciously programmed to be dishonest about themselves because they even viewed themselves as ugly and mean and vicious, all because of the programming that they are receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And Queen, you know I ask a million questions, so you're gonna have to cut me off.
Oh, me? No, yeah, no, he's on the money with that. I agree with everything that he said. I'm a psychotherapist. The black doll test thing, I was just ran through my head real quick. But yeah, no, you're on the money with what you're saying. I agree with that. I think that is absolutely. I think that is a perfect answer to why we have a dishonesty problem. I think it's completely ingrained in us at this point. We're gonna have to do some serious. First, we're gonna have to admit it. We're going to have to admit that we have a problem, and a lot of us just aren't ready to do that. And I was watching that video that you did, and I didn't understand either why so many people didn't understand that, but that's part of the problem. They're not ready to not only look past the stereotypes and admit that we've been pushed into these identifications and we're stereotyping ourselves at this point. Stereotypes that we didn't even create, we're taking on, and we're keeping them alive. Because I agreed. I'm like, there is no such thing as a loud, ratchet black woman. And the first thing I thought was, when we get all these police officers that don't know how to handle black men because you waving your hands or you talking loud, that's because you're upset and you're heightened and your heart is beating. And they automatically take that as a sign of aggression. You're the angry black man at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's a cultural thing, popping your neck and all of that. I mean, I'm not one of the women that pop my neck and all that stuff, but I'm loud. So does that make me a ratchet black woman? I don't think I know anyone who looks at me as ratchet, but everyone would say that I'm loud and, I'm boisterous and I'm present. So we got to stop with those labels. We got to be honest about it. White people aren't doing.
I mean, that's hard
that
though.
Anymore.
Like there are some scenarios
hard.
where I'm out and about and I'm like, that's some ratchet ass bullshit right there.
Yeah. And
like you doing X, Y, and Z at this particular spot. I do that.
There was like
this
video.
is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, I'm not even saying that these behaviors are 100% appropriate. What I'm saying is we have to basically erase what we think is appropriate, and then we have to collectively decide what is appropriate. So it's not that I even want to teach my daughter to be, quote unquote, what this loud, ghetto, ratchet woman is. What I'm saying is, well, who had the authority to label it that way? Why do we view it as negative? Let us first get out of our mind the way we've been taught to view ourselves, and then we can come together and say, yo, we shouldn't act like this, and we shouldn't do this. But I'm not going to be told that something is negative simply because the Caucasian told me it was negative. And that's the problem. And then we have to really look at, all right, what are some things that are in our cultural DNA? I love Malefi Asante talks about a DNA memory. So one day I had a self-hate moment. I saw this young sister with an earring through her nose and tattoos on her face and earrings all around her ear. And my first thought was, this girl doesn't want anything out of life. She don't want no job. She don't want nothing.
Yeah.
But then I had to check myself and say, well, hold on. Piercings through the nose is traditional African culture. Mm-hmm. Carvings on the face is traditional African culture. Earlobe stretching is traditional African culture. Who the hell am I, and why am I thinking this way about an African sister because she resembles a more African culture than a westernized or European American? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. We got to pull back from the way they made us view each other. And then from there, we'll decide what's appropriate. But y'all ain't going to tell us what's appropriate. Y'all not going to – they really passed a law that dreadlocks is inappropriate for the workplace, and you can be fired for wearing them.
Right. Now, that's some bullshit right there. But the other thing, like as far as the tattoos, I'm with you up about 98%. Because if she got like Pookie tattoos on her forehead, No, bro, that's just ratchet. That's nothing. No, I can't. I can't accept that argument. But anything other than that, I'm riding with you, bro. But some of the stuff on their face, man, no, it's just stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you got rest in peace Pookie on your forehead, yeah, you pretty much deserve what happens to you after you get that.
But I'm saying, if you got rest in peace Pookie on your forehead, but what if some of the traditional African carvers was honoring their ancestors? Who are we to say she can't honor Pookie?
But,
which is my nickname. By the way.
Because I resonate with this example because and she just walked the door. I have a 19-year-old niece, and when she wanted to get her first tattoo, I had to have a couple of conversations with her about where she could get them, where it was visible, where it could be covered up. She wanted to get nose septum things, some in her ear. And we had these conversations because coming out of a professional background, I'm saying, okay, well, what is it that you want to do? Now, me, ultimately, I don't have any children, but all my nieces and nephews, ultimately the goal is to be, a business owner, an entrepreneur. But until you get to that point, if you're not starting at the gate like that, you're going to have to play the game. Know that it is a game. You can do what you want to do when you get ready to do it, but make the decision being conscientious of who you're going to have to deal with on a regular basis. And if you're going to walk out your door every day to go work for, white people or a general company where you're going to get all walks of life that's going to come in, and you don't fit into the general appearance of society, then you're setting yourself up to be discriminated against when you walk through the door. And it's not. I'm not going to say necessarily that it's bad what you're doing. It just doesn't meet the general practice of the environment that you're putting yourself into every day.
I agree wholeheartedly. Now, my positions are always just about how we view each other. Now, like you said, as long as you know you're playing the game, I believe the problem is when we start to believe in the game. So it's a difference between saying, all right, listen, you got to get a job, and this is how you have to dress to get a job, and then saying you should never do this because this is just inappropriate. You see, that's my whole thing. Let's have these conversations like, look, you got to get a job. You can't have tattoos on your face, but I don't want you to think tattoos on your face or any carvings on your face or anything that's exclusive to us is wrong. But just know it's a game, because we have folks who will begin to ostracize other black people because they're saying you just don't want to do things the right way. You don't really want no help, and it's like, no, I just refuse to compromise on myself. Now I understand you got to play the game, and I talk about this a lot because as a speaker, I know sometimes I talk about us trying to sound white, and a lot of folks like ain't no such thing as sounding white. I'm a professional speaker. I've been speaking for 11 years. In my first 6 years, I talked white. So I totally understand when I was invited into these corporate spaces at that time in my life. I was a corporate speaker, teaching finance and teaching transformation and building morale, company morale and all of these different things. And the raspiness that's in my voice right now, you did not hear that. The deepness in my voice, you did not hear that. It was a higher tone. It was more nasally, which is how Europeans typically talk. They normally talk, through their nose and through the back of their throats, as opposed to from the diaphragm, as Whoopi Goldberg said in Sister Act 2. And so, but the problem is not me just playing the game, but it's if I look at a black speaker who doesn't choose to speak in that tone, and I say, oh, you're not speaking correctly. No, he's speaking correctly because I still pronunciate my words properly. I just speak in my tone. I speak in my tone now, And so it's not about not ever playing the game because we ain't got no choice but to play the game sometimes. But it's about us not having a mindset that the act of playing the game is what is the most proper thing to do.
Yeah, those people are lying too, man.
What's funny
when the bill collector call, and if that's a white dude, you know that. Off rip. I'm sorry.
But what's funny? Everybody understands it's code switching. Everyone understands, acknowledges, and utilizes code switching. Nobody looks at it as negative until you get to black people who don't understand that. It's just like he explained about being in corporate America, and you're going in with a less aggressive tone and one that seems more educated because they're going to respond to you better. But honestly, we do the same thing. It's like the way I talk to you guys is different from how I sound when I talk to my mother or my nieces and nephews. And that sounds different from how I talk to cohorts at work. And that sounds different from how I talk to clients. It's like it depends on the situation and how much authority you're trying to get across. And when you have to deal with something like that, speaking to a corporate audience, you're trying to get across your expertise in the subject without coming across aggressive, because, you know, you walking in with that aggressive black male label across your chest. So it's a hard thing to do, and once you get it mastered, I think it's reducing it to something really simple to say you talking like you white. You're doing a whole bunch of stuff. You're trying to get your point across. You're trying to sound educated. You're trying to sound confident and competent and not be aggressive and be welcoming and warming and for people to want to listen to what you're saying. So, and I got that on my life too. You know, you sound like you're talking. Maybe not now, because now I don't care anymore. But I went through that same thing too with wanting to not sound aggressive and country. That was my big thing, sounding aggressive and country at the same time. So I'd turn on that professional voice all the time too. But
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Queen, but we do got a caller on the line if you want to take that. If that's cool with you, King.
Yeah, sure.
All right. And we also had a question in the chat room. I'll get to you, and if I even attempt to pronounce your name, I'm gonna butcher it. So my bad. I'll just say Mayat. I know that one. Not sure about the first name. I'm not sure. Is DJEHUTI? Like, is the J silent? Is that Dahudi or is it Jahudi? I'm not sure. So I'm pretty close, I think, on one of those. But let's get to 7823 right quick. What's good, fam?
Peace, Jake. Peace. What's going on, Jobs? How you, Jake?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. You know I ain't got the gunshots, man, but I can make some up if you like. Because you definitely deserve them.
Y'all dropping the gunshots. I'm like, I wanted to hear, you know,
it's NBK Live Production.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like,
NBK Live Production.
I'm like, okay.
Bringing you My Skin Is My Sin with Mitchell Chance.
I definitely wanted to say peace to my brother Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? It's Knowledge Born, man. It's Knowledge Radio. Mad love and honor to what you're doing and the stance that you're taking and the target demographic that you are, you know, targeting your message to at this particular time. I wanted to say something about what was just said. We have, just like, the crux of the conversation is around communication. You speak a certain way when you want to teach somebody, and you speak another way when you want to reach somebody. You know, so when you're looking at your audience, when you're speaking to your audience and you're seeking to connect with them, you know, based off of the vibratory rate, when you go somewhere, how you have to speak. And I think that's a talent. But my question is, you know, because Mitch, you was talking about once you start to believe the game, you know, going into the game, you're going to play the game for your benefit. So it's your game. You see what I'm saying? We have to leave the mentality of thinking that we're playing someone else's game. We're playing our game. You see what I'm saying? So if your ultimate goal is to make this an exit strategy for yourself, to go into business for yourself, to do for self, you say, hey, you know, I'm going here and I'm going to do the best possible job that I could do for me. You understand what I'm saying? And you got that exit strategy to leave out of there. You know, oftentimes, I know I spend a lot of time in the military, 17 years. What happens is people have goals, aims, and aspirations, and the more that they interface with our enemy, the more those things become jaded. So now they start off playing the game, and they get played by the game because of, you know, having to switch back and forth. You see what I'm saying? It's like somebody that's multilingual in a sense. You see what I'm saying? They got to speak English on their job, they got to speak French over here, and then they get home and they got to speak English. You see what I'm saying? So in there's a part of it that could become, you know, detrimental. Some type of identity crisis can develop. And if we're already dealing with people with an identity crisis, you know, they won't know who they are anymore. You see what I'm saying? So what would y'all say to somebody like that, you know what I mean, that may, you know, be trying their best to hold it all together? You see what I'm saying? So could y'all speak to that question too?
Well, I hate to put a shameless plug in there, but I say make sure they read The Great Hijack.
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro.
No, but I mean, just really because I really break down that whole idea of being, a part of the system and beginning to believe it. Because I understand we have to play the game, like the brother said, we got to play our game in their game. But how do we make sure we don't become a part of the game? And I think the only way to do that is to continually stay grounded, to continually stay educated, and to make sure we stay around our people. So you can go to work, but then you got to come back around your own people. You can't then turn them into your friends that you're around all the time. I believe wholeheartedly that we have to get out of the mindset of making it out the hood. I think that was probably the most detrimental and the number one psychological warfare that's used against us, because it makes us have the idea that success is when you get away from your own people and your own communities. And when you start working with them and living with them, there's no way you're going to not be a part of the game, because everything around your life is going to be surrounded by what they think, how they view things. So go to work, go play the game, but you got to come back to your people. Come back and watch some lectures or go to some lectures, read some books, to make sure you have some stuff in you, and make sure you know what your exit plan is. See, a lot of folks don't have an exit plan. It's just, I want to do this to make money, and I'm going to retire here. And that's where it gets bad, because you'll be somewhere 15, 20, 25 years. It's going to be hard for you to not begin to think the way everybody around you thinks. So you got to have something outside of the job to keep you grounded.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, you'd be surprised how many people, literally retire and die.
Oh, no, yes.
Or even another point, that don't stay grounded, like he said, that start with a purpose, but end up like he was saying, play the game, play your own game inside of the game. That's like we had Queen Latifah that started playing the game inside the game, and look what happened. Didn't stay grounded, and they sucked her in, and then we got Common. They sucked him in, and we got an example to go on and on.
Oh my God,
on.
yeah, Common, he really disappointed me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but that's what happens. Like you said, you know the game that's going on, and it seems like you winning, and then I don't know if it's a certain amount of money. I don't know if it's a certain, endorsement or what, they invite you to the country club a few too many times or what it is, and then you get sucked in. It's like you're not fighting that good fight anymore, because you're not relating to where you came from or what you used to see. You know what I'm saying? You've been out of the hood a little bit more.
I think we could do a better job early on with our children and instilling them a positive energy, as opposed to, because it wears on the kid from the time, let's say you don't fit, you're not light-skinned and you're not cute coming up. You catch hell sometimes. And hearing that for decades.
Let's not say you're not cute. You don't fit the European standard of beauty.
All right, okay. Well, I'll say that you don't fit the European standard of beauty. I give you that one. That's true. Whatever the case is, you catch a lot of hell and you internalize that, which I think kind of goes back to what you was doing as far as giving young men a space to vent and be honest. That's something that I would have never even conceptualized growing up. Thankfully, I had some people around me that I could actually go talk to and not feel like judged or something like that. But I do know, and looking back, when you look back at the kids that really didn't have that, and you see how their life went as opposed to how your life went, it's a reason for that.
Yes.
Definitely. And I think that to me, at least personally, that's part of the solution is acknowledging the gifts in our beautiful children early on, and instead of them being a nerd, or introduce them to I Am Hotel, introduce them to the great ones in our history, so that they can understand that the education actually is, man, that's a beautiful thing. And I think we kind of got it a little mixed up. And my bad, I kind of went on my little tangent. I do apologize.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
While we got a couple of people tuned in, I want to make sure that they know where they can get your books at.
Definitely, they can go to M Chance Speaks, M as in Mitchell, Chance like take a chance, Speaks with an S, mchancespeaks.com. 5 different books on there, ranging from $10 to $20. And right now I have ebooks on there. Right now you can get all 5 ebooks for $12.99.
All right, and I got a little static in the back. I think that.
Right. I'm gonna have to take a quick break real fast. That's like I said, I'm still out here in the middle of the streets.
Oh, my bad. Man, that's love right there. Go ahead, bro. Do what you got to do. We'll be here.
All right.
My bad. I thought that was knowledge. I knew there was something going on in the background, but yeah.
No, I got to show. You know that background noise. I can't play that. I wanted to say that because I used it as an example. I don't know how many of y'all have read the book, The Spook Who Sat by the Door. I know the majority of the people have seen the film, but the book actually details the extent that the brother Freeman had to go through to maintain his mask, working in the CIA. You see what I'm saying? Like, he had to show up with the light brights and, he had to denounce all of the feelings. Like, he had an internal war to maintain his time there for his duties. You see what I'm saying? To be able to, when it was time to make that exit strategy back to where he was from, he knew that they would tell him. He knew that they would check out the organization that he was going to be involved with. So he already, from the day that he signed up to the day that he left, he was calculated about everything. You see what I'm saying? So that was something that, weighed heavy on him, and it weighs heavy on a lot of us. You see what I'm saying? Going in there and not having a support system in play per se. You see what I'm saying? Like, he did have the one sister that he would go see, and that was it. But, he basically had to, not be seen or not express things when he could. You see what I'm saying? In order to maintain that, and it wears heavy on the psyche. You see what I'm saying? So that's one of the contexts I wanted to use in bringing out that point.
That was actually right on point too, bro. As usual, they don't call you knowledge for nothing. Man, geez, and it was another question I had, man, and it just like, I wrote down a couple, and like, he was so on point that he just answered the questions that I had without me really having to ask anything.
Don't mean to cut you off, but I'm back. But go ahead.
Oh, no, but no, I was just saying, man, like, you were so thorough with your explanations that you kind of answered a couple of my questions. I was a little tight about that.
Well, I'm glad I answered. It's a gift. I remember one of my cousins one time told me, "You're not always right. You just know how to explain stuff."
Hey, it's working, bro. And let me ask you this: like, where did it? I mean, like, at what point did you just say, you know what, I'm about to start talking to people?
I was in the 3rd grade, and Ms. Moser told me, "You are going to be like Martin Luther King," and she put me in front of the whole school and made me memorize the "I Have a Dream" speech, and that's when I started speaking.
Wow,
Miss Moser, she was a Pan-Africanist. She was teaching us Swahili, teaching us about all the African stuff. She dropped the seed in my spirit when I was 5 or 6 years old. Miss Moser, rest in peace to her. So if there's any teachers listening, don't think the kids don't hear you, because for some years I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. But what she dropped in my spirit at that age came out now.
You know what? And while you at it, man, shout out to Teresa Carroll. If you listening, she was my high school English teacher. She was dope. She was one of the few people that let me be me and showed me the greatness of a writing ability, to which to this day I still appreciate. So.
I'm mad. My English teacher blocked me on Facebook, like, at the end of last year. I'm telling you, my sophomore and senior English teacher, AP teacher, who thought so much of me and pushed me to do the thesis track in graduate school and, edited my thesis and everything, blocked me because I did that sketch of Micah X and called him a hero, and he got into a back and forth with me, and I told him, I hope the same thing you telling me you tell your white friends, you definitely should be checking, not me. And next thing I looked, I was blocked. Fuck them. Anyway.
Ouch.
No shout out to Dr. McCreary. Moving on.
For blocking you. Oh, but I'm gonna have to go. Do you have any last questions for me before I go?
Oh man, make sure you got a joint coming up in Baltimore, correct? It's on
I'm in
Eventbrite,
Baltimore,
correct?
the Downtown Cultural Arts Center, 401 North Howard Street. You can get the tickets at Eventbrite. Just search the Reconnect Tour. Yeah, so Baltimore is the first stop, September 28th. You can follow me on Facebook, Mitchell Nkrumah, speaks Nkrumah, and all the information is on there. Trying to get the tour in every city, so if you're in another city, the tour is coming to you soon. So we're adding dates weekly, and just getting out and trying to get the message out to heal all the different disconnects that we have. I just added Monique Doran, the author of Daddy Don't Touch Me there. So she's going to be talking about molestation, how to be a survivor of it, and how to prevent it. So I can't wait. And I'm trying to get Brick on the tour with me too. So
you trying to get who on the tour with you?
Brick.
Oh, that would be fire. And it's funny too. I've been trying to put together a little something too, man. That's one of the first people I thought about was Brick. Like, man,
yeah.
Shit.
Man,
Well, my brother's
stuck
calling
me.
I gotta get back over to the conversation with the streets. But I think you guys
no doubt.
I'm sorry I couldn't stay longer, but like I really be in the trenches. Like it's not a joke. Like I'm on a block where it was just a major shootout earlier today. Like that's where I'm at right now.
Hey, bro, we ain't that important, man. Go do that work.
Yeah.
Well, I had to keep my obligation.
Oh, I truly appreciate it, man. Appreciate the time and your wisdom.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right, salute,
Thank
King.
you. Very dope.
Man, I had just thought of a dope ass question too, and it was too late.
Yeah, man,
and
but
for those
the amount of information that he gave though in a short time though, that hard thing to do.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That was, I appreciate the build. I really do. And for those people, it was a couple. It's actually let me see, 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 people actually in the live chat. Like, man, man, they must really be bored.
Oh man, don't say that. Nah, they know a good conversation when they hear one.
No, I mean, like, he was dope though. Like I cannot take any. Yeah, extremely humbled that he came on the platform. Very, yeah. And hopefully I really wanted to get into the Black and Nobel thing too, because I really would like to. I reached out to try to put together a little benefit concert. I would like to do that. I think that would be dope.
Man, I feel a little special that he trying to get Brick. Y'all trying to get Brick, and I got Brick. I'm like, man, look.
And Brick is dope. And Peace
Brick
to Dark Warrior. Yeah, my bad. But Peace to Dark Warrior. I'm a little lost right now because I'm usually not looking at a live chat. So it's throwing me off just a little bit. I'm not that good at multitasking. I'm barely good at holding the phone. So holding the phone and actually doing something else is tough for me.
You can't chew bubble gum and walk at the same time.
It's difficult. Sometimes I have to take a break and do one or the other. It depends on the gum too.
I forgot to tell him that Exodus was my favorite track on Brick's album. I think I said that. Man, I love that whole beginning monologue that he got. Like, just sets me up for that whole second side of the CD there.
That is a really
the track. Yeah.
Really dope CD, and so dope. And since he had to leave, you know what? We'll do a little love for little more love for Break the Foundation. If you still out there listening, King.
Tell me what you want right now. 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 supreme. Yeah, tell me what you want right now. I can give you all my styles. Tell me what you want. You can try my shoes on for size, guarantee you couldn't walk my mouth. Hold on a second as I spark my loud. Room full of clouds till the spirits pipe down. We can sing together but can't talk together, so tell all the ancestors to gather round. Paranormal, my flow informs you. Decode the track is all I want, and I'm just brainstorming enormous. Mind full of thoughts unsorted. I can feel the forces. Welcome to my fortunes. I be in the lab, I'm the chemist in here mixing, and I'm whipping up this potion. Take notice, we moving like locomotives. You can't feel the power, then come closer. What up, though, people? Properly greet you. Gave you an index of songs you can read through. Break down the meanings, don't need no cathedrals. I am my shrine. What up, Damani? My soul is alive. Pushing the needle, red line, and on the dash, I'm speeding. Maneuver in sequence. European programmed, I'm off for deletion. No secret, continue to bless it, no need for no season. UNITY cohesion. Stop looking for guidance and be your own leader. Life is a lesson and living's a teacher, my niggas. We regal, please believe it. Can you feel the vibrations increasing? If not, then you should repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Then come on. Tell me what you want right now. 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 They say they want freedom. They say they want peace. No more black dead bodies in the street. They say they want war. Let the casualties increase. Exodus a revolution. I'm gonna give you what you need. Let's see. Tell me what you want right now. 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 They say they want freedom. They say they want peace. No more black dead bodies in the street. They say they want war. Let the casualties increase. Exodus a revolution. I'm gonna give you what you need. Let's see.
Stab you in the back for giving a nigga 5 in advance. Heavily meditated, my medicated mind's in a trance. I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna dance. Once sit down in therapy, the psychiatrist ran. Back to the same psych ward that was hiding me in. 5 degrees, they got me living outside of the tent. My mind is a weapon, I don't gotta keep a 9 in the pants. Got them shaking in their boots when they see a nigga rising again. Pants sagging, you cats lagging like cinnamon with no toast crunch. Brainwashed without evidence, no shower cap, no soap such. You don't need a hot pot of grease for you to know when they're fried. You Snoop Dogg gon' stress weed. You Kanye West with his hair dyed up. Thinking I was reminiscing when I was whipping in the kitchen. Trying to be an independent businessman, I ain't really know the difference. Survival of the fittest, damn, who would've knew I go the distance? When they ask me how I pay the rent, I tell them.
Tell me what you want right now. 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 They say they want freedom. They say they want peace. No more black dead bodies in the street. They say they want war. Let the casualties increase. Exodus a revolution. I'm gonna give you what you need. Let's see. Tell me what you want right now. 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 They say they want freedom. They say they want peace. No more black dead bodies in the street. They say they want war. Let the casualties increase. Exodus a revolution. I'm gonna give you what you need. Let's see.
Hey, y'all slipping if y'all ain't got that brick to foundation. And no, I'm not making no money off it. This brick is just dope. You know, I don't want people thinking that. You know, if I think you dope and you do something, I'll shout you out. That's just me. I can't help it. You know. And by the way, go to MySkinIsMySin.com. We got all the show archives on there. We got some clothes on there. Soon we'll be putting the Intellectually Petty on their clothing line. We got the fan page for the Intellectually Petty. You can go check out that clothing line. Shout out to Renee Black for doing all the designs for every piece of clothing. So that's fire. And shout out to my co-host, man. I think I just might have the dopest co-host on the planet.
Me?
That was cute.
Are you talking about me?
You the only one on the phone? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Knowledge is here, too, I think, too. But, yeah, I'm talking about you, Queen.
A little.
Hey, you know what, though? We got to hear when we dope sometimes. You know, I don't think that we give each other enough credit.
Oh, man, you know? You got to teach on the horn sometimes. If you don't think you fly, ain't nobody going to think you fly.
That's a fact, yo. And if you tune in to NBK Live, subscribe to that channel, and then go to My Skin Is My Sin on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow the show on Blog Talk Radio. We here every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Jobs, and that's Queen Afi. And y'all already know, from goons to gods, we welcome anyone. We only got one rule, and that's be respectful. Although I thought you was about to lose it, Queen, over the religious joint. thought you was about to lose it.
Oh no, why? Because I say my opinion and y'all think I'm about to lose, and I just didn't agree with what he said, especially about the Bible being, African, and it's like the only thing I kept thinking is he picking and choosing what he gonna teach and what he gonna make African, just like Christians picking and choosing what applies to their Christian beliefs and leaving out all the other parts. He doing the same thing. I mean,
but don't every religion do that? Like, keep it a stack. Every religion over history they cherry picks the good stuff, and they tend to pass on the good stuff more so than the bad stuff. Everybody do that.
Right. Everyone does do it. Yep. Which is why I'm not religious. It's gonna be people that need what he's doing, and apparently he needs it, and he's doing positive things. It's like we were talking earlier. I really don't care whether you believe in religion or not, but that don't mean I can't have my opinion on it. I was once a religious person at one point, so I will have an opinion on something, and we're on a platform to talk for a reason, and I didn't agree with what he was saying. That the Bible in its current state is not African, and it's not fashioned to be beneficial toward African people. Now, you can put your spin on it. You can take the stuff out and try to fashion it to fit your agenda if you'd like to, but the provable concrete history of the Bible and Christianity itself not Christianity itself, I will say of the Bible and leave it there, is not African. It's not.
You tell me what book in the history of ever has everybody completely agreed on?
None. None, and there is no creed that I think it has a righteous agenda for the population that it targets. Which again is why I'm non-religious. I'm just saying, like, the brother is heavily enlightened. I just see people like that elude me. It's like when we had Captain. I always butcher his name. Charles. You say it.
Tazariot.
I know the brother. I know his name. My tongue won't say it properly, so I apologize for that. But right. It's like to be so enlightened and so well read and so active. I would never deny the work that they do and the good that they do, but I don't get how brothers can have these knowledgeable, foundations and still get sucked into that. I don't get it. I just don't. I don't get it. Like what happens along there where you can see so deeply into issues and and manifest that as positive activity, but you can't see the bullshit behind what you putting all your belief into.
I look at it like this. Everybody needs a source of their energy. Where you get, and just because one person thinks that source should be X, Y, and Z doesn't mean that that's going to work for the next person. If what you're doing with that energy is constructive and is beneficial to our people, who am I to judge your energy source?
That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. That's always going to be the bottom line. But I'm not one that's going to say, I can't never judge you. Of course I can. You just ain't got to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? But I can have an opinion on what I think about what you're doing, who you are. Like I take the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. But there's no doubt that the brother is dope. There's no doubt that the brother's putting in work. I love that he's a published author multiple times. He's definitely passionate about what he's doing and what he's saying. And he happens to be on my favorite track right now. So, hey, the brother's dope. The brother's dope.
And before we got about 15 minutes left, and I want to make sure that I shout out NBK, and do not forget to subscribe to NBK Live and go over to My Skin Is My Sin and subscribe there. And what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna try to continue doing this. We'll do this joint on Blog Talk and on NBK Live, and we look forward to doing more with them. Definitely appreciate the look. It's been a long time coming, but felt good. So hopefully we'll be able to continue and build upon this and really do some things and really change some shit.
Y'all simulcast it?
We are.
Man, see, look at that. You see what the black woman do? Shout out to Queen Afi. You see what I'm saying? The black woman coming in the mix and get everything together. Jobs is simulcasted. Look at you, brother. That's what I'm talking about. That's why you careers now, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he had to level up. That's all.
That's a fact, though. Like I cannot even dispute that. You absolutely right. You know, and trust and believe. I already know.
Man, we doing big things
man.
now. We popping. We on Google. We on YouTube. We clicking over, calling people while we on the air. I mean, we doing all kinds of things now.
No doubt. And I better, before I even think about getting off the air, shout out to the Family Liberation Minded Media Group, man. We got Knowledge Born on the line, but through the Knowledge Radio, the Rundown with Renee, My Skin is My Sin, and Get This Wisdom magazine, and Black I Stand Radio, and what we do it for is to control our narrative. I'm tired of people always, every day I see the same shit on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Oh, so-and-so happened and they didn't report it. Why do you expect them to report it? They don't give a shit. They have already demonstrated that over centuries. You know, I'm not about to, I'm not saying I'm about to wake up everybody to everything, but at least understand that one simple thing right there. They don't give a shit, and build on that.
Yep.
I have proven it. It's not my opinion. It is a fact. You can look it up for however far you want to go back.
Yep.
But we're trying to do something where, and that's why we hooked up with NBK. We want to control our narrative and start to consolidate our forces.
That's true.
Because like the access that we got right now is freaking unbelievable. Like, to be quite honest.
Right. It really is.
So
it really is. And we need to be creating, larger platforms, for ourselves. It's, black, my favorite phrase, black propaganda. You know what I mean? That's the only way we're going to reverse a lot of these stereotypes, a lot of these images, a lot of these thoughts that we have of each other, that we manifest as the behavior that we don't want to be displaying, and we got an opportunity to stop it, so why would we pass up that opportunity? Got to control the narrative. We that's why a large part of why we having disputes about all of this religion and creeds and books and ways of life and culture, and because we didn't write it ourselves. We didn't record it ourselves. So we get all these different versions, with outsiders putting their 2 cents in, and we got to figure out what's right and what's wrong.
If you really think about it, though, every truth is somebody else's opinion at one point.
That's true. You know what I'm saying? But having a mass conversation about it, there can at least be a general consensus. You may not get every individual person to agree, but you can kind of gauge, a general truthfulness of the situation.
I need to write that down, though. That was actually kind of dope. I might have to write that down. You might see that in the post later.
Oh man,
that's why we need the Queen Afi. That's why we need the Queen Afi files. We need the Queen Afi series. Otherwise, it'll be some old pale thing talking about they know Queen Afi.
I'm coming for my royalties if I see you publish it somewhere. I need my coin.
We need it from you. And we need it from Jobs to Careers series. You know what I'm saying?
I love that, too, careers.
That's it.
I am so not that interested, man. Like, I really am not. Like I can barely talk to myself and hold an interesting conversation, let alone other people.
You downplay
but you got an interesting story.
You downplay that.
You got, whether you agree with it or not, you got an interesting story, and you was a part of some pivotal history. You see, like our history books are being written now, but we need to decide who's writing them. You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, it's going to be to our detriment.
Right.
You know what I do want to be in a museum though. I'm not going to front. That's like it's been like 2 things like pretty much like my bucket list is to actually be in a be an exhibit. I want to be that Frozen dude, like doing something magnificent in a museum somewhere where they got a little plaque to tell my story. That and see the pyramids in person. And,
Wait, you want to be the Frozen dude, or you want to have like a bust? You want to have like a clay or metal bust made, or you want to?
I want to be the actual. Give me the whole body. Like don't just cut me off. Don't cut me short. Like I want to be the whole body. And the exhibit, and and Jobs, Joseph, a.k.a. Jobs, a.k.a. careers, a.k.a. whatever they want to put up there that I have done. I would like to be that guy that in somebody's museum I'm the exhibit at some point, and in history.
NBK Live, NBK Promotions. This is an NBK Promotions production. We in here. Keyword of the day: alliances. Remember that.
And Osby got to make the statue. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it ain't legit.
Yeah, you know just let me make a dope statue, a dope bust. I'm a good carver too. Let me make a dope.
That's cold though. Why they gotta be wrinkled though?
And stuff. I'm just.
I didn't say like as is. They just I die and they just stick a stick up in my back. No, I'm talking about You know how they do you go in the museum and you see some things. It's like
I know.
It's like it's a bronze bust. I don't want that. I want to be like one of the pieces of the exhibit, like like interactive type deal.
Man, 200 years from now, they're gonna make you a white guy. They're gonna change the whole story now. You're gonna be a white dude.
That's so fucked up, but it's so true. They probably will. If I have a story that's interesting enough to tell, and at this point, it's been pretty boring. So barring me,
because how they have those ancient, natives that have been frozen in ice, and they've dug them out and they got them on display, and they go all around the world, and they dig them up. The skin gets really dark, after that. These people had pigmented skin. And they lighten them up. They got all this makeup on them, make them look like. I'm telling you, they're gonna make you like a Michael Jackson. Like you're gonna be like a super light dude.
I don't want that. Well, this is my job for you then. I need you to sneak into the museum, and pass this along, to your lineage.
I'm gonna be dead.
To make sure that you darken me up, because I don't want to be a white dude for eternity. I want to make sure that my caramel complexion stays intact throughout my history. Whether I'm actually physically breathing or not, I still want to be bronze.
What do you call those things? You better leave an advance directive then, because I ain't gonna make it too much longer after you.
Yeah, well, right now I'm broke.
About the same age.
And we got like 4 minutes to go, so I do want to say once again, man, I definitely got to say much love to NBK, much love to Liberation Minded Media, KZTL Radio Group, One United Bank, which is the largest black-owned bank in the country. We did have the honor and privilege to interview their CEO. She was dope. I think Terry Williams, I believe. I'm trying to think of the what's the black Facebook? I cannot remember. Oh, and I got a couple of accounts too. I'm kicking myself right now. BlackJunction.com. Shout out to them. And again, a lot of this, a lot of things I don't, we ain't get nothing for it. Just good people happen to run across them. Good products. I like y'all to, dig into it. Make sure you check out everybody in Liberation Minded. If you're looking at the live stream right now, look to your left, and you will see everybody. The logo is dope, and that was made by Renee Black too. And if you look to the right, you will see the flyer for tonight. That was made by MYSKINISMYSIN and Revolutionary Minds own, the Queen Afi. And I'm just kind of anything that you give me your website too, Queen. And you got to plug the art show.
KMLportraits.com. You can find me on Instagram, KML_portraits. The show Revolution or Exodus will be in Houston, October 21st from 6 to 9 at Yoga House Houston, and it will be hosted by the men, my brethren of Revolutionary Mind Cinema. They'll all be there. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Anything you want to say, Knowledge? You got a show tonight, bro? I guess he don't have anything to say.
Knowledge? Oh, okay.
I know, he hit us with the Yoda treatment. Huh?
Yeah, and he always got, Knowledge like to mute and do whatever he's doing in the background.
Yeah,
but
he's multitasking. So I had to mute him, just a preemptive mute. And shout out to everybody in the live chat. Shout out to Garfield, Jehudi, Delia, and I know I'm gonna butcher somebody's name, so my bad, Seneb, and I'm pretty sure I just did butcher your name. And definitely, this has been cool, man. This is really dope, and hopefully we can build on this and grow the show, grow the platform, and grow the propaganda. And we generally don't play music all that much. I'm gonna keep it a stack, but I'm just on one today, so I want to end off with motivation by Brick the Foundation. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram, My Skin Is My Sin, the number 1. On Twitter, My Skin Is My Sin, the number 1. If you want to go to the fan page, just go to MySkinIsMySin.com. On Facebook, the group My Skin Is My Sin. I know I'm missing some stuff, but anyway, man, it's been love. Appreciate y'all, man. We'll see y'all next Thursday. And we got Chon Castro Quiley next Thursday, and then the following Thursday we got we got another dope show lined up. I'm gonna keep y'all posted, but it's looking really good for what we got lined up for the next couple of weeks. No, you don't. And on that note, peace. Appreciate y'all time and y'all wisdom. I'll holler at y'all in a minute.
And I got the outgoing gunshot.
Yeah.
I'm
soaking up this knowledge motivate. I swear these words, they give me power, feel the motivate.